posts on my blog. We are live now, Chris J. Reed. So if you go to your phone and you keep refreshing or your screen, and there's a 15-second lag, and then we'll be able to see this. And as soon as we come up, so we know that we're definitely there, then we'll be there. So, hey, if anyone's listening in already, then please do type in wherever you're watching or listening from. And it's now refreshing, Chris, and I can see that we are, yes, here we are. We are now live, okay? And so over time, there are 3 people and then 5 people and 6 people. Okay, people are starting to come on, and they will join us over time. 7 people, 9 people. Hello. If you can hear us, do type in where you're watching from, because it's lovely to see these numbers of people here. And in fact, I just might type a comment here. Where are you in the world? Hi, Richard Morrell. Lovely to see you there. And I just need to turn down my volume, Chris. And so that's it. How are you, Richard? Oh, and Maggie Bolton from Sydney. Hi, Maggie. I think we can remove this and say hello. Chris, say hello to everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey. Now, hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on this LinkedIn Live, because it's a very special one, because I've got this very charismatic and absolutely nuts LinkedIn professional, Chris J. Reed, the only CEO in the world with a mohawk. Okay, and then just within a couple of years of starting his business, he was listed on NASDAQ. So how good is that?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
No, and he's very humble. Yes, we will find out a little bit later on. But the reason why I wanted to talk to Chris today is because he is living in Singapore, and here we go. I'll put Singapore updates. And you know how Singapore is doing very well with containing so far the coronavirus. And we, of course, are all working from home all over the globe. And Australia is starting to contain it too. So I thought we'd have a little bit of a chat about what we're doing over here in Oz, what you're doing over there in Singapore, because certainly, my clients and connections would be really interested, and I don't know if people in Singapore are interested in what we're doing in Australia, because you're already doing it.
There's a big synergy between Singapore and Australia. I mean, the 2 prime ministers met just last week virtually and agreed lots of ways to work together. And our armed forces, for example, go to Queensland to train, for example. So there's lots of synergies between the two countries. Lots of Aussies here, lots of Singaporeans go to Perth, for example, and Sydney. When I go to Sydney and Perth, I meet lots of Singaporeans down there, and vice versa. So there's lots of synergies between the 2 countries.
Yeah, wonderful. And I used to live in Singapore for 18 years, and I have to say I really miss it, because I'm really hankering for a good laksa or black crab.
Yeah, you can't get a good laksa or chili crab in Sydney, can you?
Oh, you can get some good ones, but anyway, all the restaurants are closed, so I'm going to have to whip one up myself somehow. I just want to say hello. Richard Morrell's here. Maggie Bolton's here. Hello. Michelle Prendergrass. Hi, Michelle. Suranga J. Hello. So Michelle and Suranga are in Brisbane. Maggie's in Sydney. Richard's in Melbourne. We've got 17 people watching. Just type in wherever you are in the world, and it will be lovely to get to know you. Now, I'm just going to turn off some of my notifications to make sure I don't get any pings all the time. Okay, so Chris, tell us what's going on in Singapore.
Well, Singapore's relatively kind of business as usual. I mean, we have restrictions in terms of social distancing. They're very heavy on that. Basically, if you don't do social distancing, you get put in jail. If you don't basically look after yourself in terms of stay-at-home notices, you also basically, they come down on you hard. And I shared a post on Sunday, for example, about how a Singaporean man had stupidly decided to ignore this advice and thinking it didn't matter. And then basically, when he came back into the country, they basically ripped up his passport. Effectively, they terminated his passport, which basically means he's stuck here forever and ever and ever, because obviously you cannot travel without a passport. And I think maybe he did it because he wasn't aware that they would be that serious. Maybe he thought he was going to get slapped on the wrist, but this is pretty serious stuff. So they need to stop people traveling. They need to basically make people stay at home, and they basically monitor that on a very, very focused basis, and more strict than I've seen in places like Italy and Spain and the UK and the US, where it seems to be taken like some kind of joke. I mean, you see the pictures of places in Florida and kind of London and Spain and Italy and Australia, of course, Sydney. Richard Ernest was going mad at the weekend about all the pictures of people in Sydney And on the beaches, people just congregating and having fun. It's like, oh, there's a pandemic going on. So basically, Singapore is very, very serious, very focused on this. But as a result of it, they treat us with a lot of respect. So we can still go to restaurants, we can still go to malls, we can still go out. I cycled this morning. People are still going out and exercising, although many of the gyms are closed because of the social distancing side of things. But basically, they're treating us like adults, and they're basically letting us self-focus on ourselves to make sure that the virus, does not spread. And as a result of it, we only had like 30 new infections yesterday, for example, which is down from the previous day, which is down from the previous day. So it's going to go down. I imagine it will keep on going down as they effectively sealed off the borders now. And anyone coming in is a 14-day stay at home. But it's not stay at home here. It's wonderful here. You get put in a 5-star hotel in Singapore for free. The government pays for it. Okay, you're stuck in a room, but you've got like a sea view and 5-star breakfast and that kind of thing. So it's not as bad as would be just basically being in a normal kind of house or condo or something like that. So they basically got the whole thing under control and not giving out bullshit as well. Our Prime Minister the weekend said basically this is going to last maybe a year or maybe 2 years, and it'll have knock-on effects, because even if you have no cases here, for example, or in Australia, you might still have cases in other parts of the world, and therefore your borders can't open. So it's not just a question of like you've got it under control here and business is back to usual. That isn't going to happen. You think you're going to be flying, in 3 or 4 months' time just because there's no cases in Australia? It's not going to happen, because if you go to a country which has the infection, they haven't controlled it. Maybe India, maybe Africa, maybe America, then basically when you come back, you're going to be put in stay at home again, in quarantine again. And that's going to affect people left, right, and center in terms of spending as well. I mean, we've already seen that. I'm sure you've seen that. Every business owner has seen that. People not making decisions, people basically just putting it off. Normally companies, big companies. I found that lots of big companies are basically putting on hold contracts for our clients. And therefore, our clients' revenues are drying up. And therefore, they're saying to us, let's suspend ours. Let's put ours on hold until these big guys come in. So the big guys need to keep on spending, otherwise it trickles down to the little guys. And obviously I'm concerned with the little guys, because most of my clients are little guys like me, little entrepreneurs running boutique companies. Boutique companies that basically employ locals. I employ lots of Singaporeans, and I want to keep on employing those Singaporeans. But I need the bigger companies to basically stop not spending and actually still spend, because you still need things like education. You still need to do you can do lots of things online. And there's no reason not to do things online, for example, that you can basically, you do in a normal time, you can still do now. And it's really weird, the mentality that people have basically stopped doing things just because there's a virus going on. It's like, I don't understand this mentality at all. I haven't stopped at all. I'm really, really busy, so I don't understand why other people have stopped.
Yeah, I think the thing is a lot of people are not that keen on embracing technology. I always coach online. I do group workshops online. I do group coaching online. I do one-on-one coaching online, and so I'm very familiar with it and quite comfortable. And we can all become comfortable with it. But to stop completely, there are some things, of course, that you have to be face to face. I mean, hospitality is affected so badly. Yeah. Obviously, the airline industry, it's face-to-face. You hop on a plane and you go somewhere. Well, we're not going anywhere for a long time. But you're absolutely right about the economy, because the ripple effect is going to, it's going to take a long, long time to recover. But at the moment, we've just got to think about all the things that we can do. And the first thing, I think, is we've got to maintain our mental health, because a lot of people don't actually work very well cooped up in their own apartment or their own home. It's lovely if you're in a 5-star hotel with a great view, but what if you're in a little apartment with no view? You'd go stir crazy. And so what do you think? I mean, I grew up in Hong Kong, and a lot of people live in small apartments. In Singapore, there are big houses, there are small apartments as well. But what are you able to do with regard to exercise? What can you do in Singapore now?
I mean, basically, we can still go out. So basically, I cycled this morning. I went across the East Coast. I went to basically Marina Bay Sands, and I had, there was lots of other people cycling and running and walking as well. So if you go outside, you're fine. And actually, the gyms are not closed here, just that certain gyms decided to close. So because of the social distancing side of things, and because of the hygiene side of things, some of them just went, okay, we can't cope with this, like Fitness First and Pure. But some of the independents are still working. And some of the independent yoga studios and bar studios and so forth are still out there and still working. So it's exercise as normal, and hospitality is still going on as normal. It just means you just have social distancing, that's all. But it is putting people going out. It's putting our people off going out. And that's a mistake, because again, you need to support entrepreneurs, you need to support local businesses who employ, people who then pay, CPF to, and you pay GST to, for example. So That's what I mean. But effectively, it's business as usual here, although people are being advised, obviously, to stay at home and non-essential travel and so forth as well. But you can still have the freedom to go out, which is kind of ironic because Singapore obviously gets criticized for being too draconian. And I'm going, we're probably the freest country in the world at the moment. So it's like, but it's respected. They basically treat us like adults. Like the guy who went to, came back and ignored a stay-at-home notice. Well, he got treated like an adult and basically his passport got ripped up because he was stupid. He just went home 14 days and he could have gone and traveled again and come back in and he would still be free. So it's strict. You know where you stand because they say this is going to happen. If you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. You're going to get fined, you're going to get put in jail, or your passport could get ripped up, for example. But effectively, it's still open for business. I understand Australia is like now down to 2 people.
Yes. Well, this just happened at midnight on Monday.
Right.
And I'm getting a little bit of feedback, Chris. Maybe you could turn down the volume
Sure.
on one of your monitors, so that would be good. Just before we carry on, I just want to say hello to some people who've been saying hello. So Rebecca Walker's in Melbourne, and Clive is in Canberra. Hello, Jason. Jason's in Sydney as well. So that's good. If you guys have any questions and you're interested to know what's going on in Singapore, just pop them in the chat box.
Lauren from the USA here.
Wonderful. I need to refresh. And so what I would like to do is, because Chris is a personal branding and marketing expert, we're going to be talking in a little while about how we can actually continue to build our brands while we are in lockdown as such. But back to what's happening in Sydney. Now we can only go out and congregate with 2 people at any given time, and of course social distance as well. The golf clubs have just closed. Or
wow.
They've been recommended to close. So my husband's like, oh no, we can play golf. Because even yesterday he was saying, well, the 2 of us, we can play golf. We can just walk, apart. And I said, well, look, we're living together. You're just here right next to me. What's the point in going out and social distancing? Sometimes you wonder what goes through our minds. You see, we're already going a bit stir crazy.
Yeah.
But today I went for a walk. I always go for a 30-minute walk because it clears my head and I feel good.
Yeah.
While I'm on my walk, I always do a Facebook Live into my Facebook accountability group. Oh, by the way, if anybody didn't know, we're also live streaming on YouTube while we're live streaming on LinkedIn as well. So if you wanted to check it out, you can always go to youtube.com, Jane Jackson Cremorne, and why it's Jane Jackson Cremorne, don't ask me, I can't change it. but you'll be able to see it over there if you're interested, because this is the first time I'm testing it out on YouTube streaming live, because I've never done it before. So I hope it works. If it does work, anyone needs to hop over there.
Podcast, Jane. So you mentioned before about your podcast. I didn't realize you had such a big podcast. Apparently it's top 20 in the whole of Australia or whole of the world. So how do your podcasts help people who basically want to enhance their careers? Because many people listening and watching, we're worrying about their careers at the moment, worrying about their jobs. How can they protect their jobs if they're working for a big company?
Shoes on the other foot. You're interviewing me. Well, here we go. I'll put the link up there since you asked, Chris. But first of all, I want to say hello to Alejandra Gallagher from Orlando. Hi, Alejandra.
Oh, wow.
What time is it? What time is it in Florida right now? Okay, so with regard to the podcast, very nicely. Last year, FeedSpot voted my Your Career podcast. It's called Top 20 Career Podcasts globally, which is very nice. And what I do is I provide career advice and guidance, because you know me, I'm just a warm, fuzzy career coach, and my mission is to make careers guidance accessible to all who need it. And not everyone can afford one-on-one coaching. Because it's an investment. So I always think, how can I help other people? And so podcast, it's free. You can get it on YouTube and Spotify and TuneIn Radio or wherever. So there's career advice, but also I interview fascinating professionals who are leaders in their field and have made interesting career changes. And, they could be people who've transitioned into new jobs and new industries or new job functions, but many of them are entrepreneurs. And in fact, I interviewed you, Chris, on my podcast as well. So if you want, go to the podcast and type in Chris J. Reed and you'll find him. It's actually a really funny interview. So Chris is always very entertaining. But what happens is, because people, when you're going through a redundancy or a change, and like we're going through change now, and there's over 1 million people whose jobs have been affected in Australia alone. just millions and millions globally. But people want to know, well, what can we do? Are we going to ever get another job? Will there, what on earth could we possibly do? And so transitioning potentially into self-employment could be an option. It's not for everybody, but why not just find out all you can and see if you're really cut out for entrepreneurship? Because if you are, then this could be your way of taking control of your career. I mean, such as you, Chris, you've had such an interesting career journey. How did you transition into entrepreneurship?
Oh, I was always going to be an entrepreneur. I mean, my father was an entrepreneur, my uncle was an entrepreneur, my grandfather was an entrepreneur, and I was surrounded by entrepreneurs. So, from a very early age, I wanted to start my own business at 16. I wanted to get out there, and my father rightly said, you can't have a business at 16. You need to basically learn about the thing. But that's why I started my summer job and Saturday job at the age of 16 to basically get experience. I knew pretty quickly I was not an educational guy. I was not a theoretical guy. I was like, how does it work on the shop front? How does it work in HMV, this wonderful record store? How do customers interact? How do you market to a customer? How do you stimulate a demand immediately? And then when I did university, for example, I basically knew then as well, the theory just didn't contract with what was actually happening in the real world. So basically, I wanted to become an entrepreneur very immediately, but I knew I needed to build up my experience. So I came to London, worked for like 5 different major brands in media, from television to radio to newspapers to magazines, all the big ones in the UK, with a view to then knowing that I would then turn these contacts and turn this experience to being an entrepreneur when I was like, 30, which is exactly what I did. So I've been, an entrepreneur for 20 years with 5 different companies, and I would not change it for the entire world, because it is about freedom. It's about choice. It's about, I was able to come to Singapore after my 3rd exit in the UK. Basically, you can go wherever you want. You can set up wherever you want. And with LinkedIn, obviously, you can contact anyone wherever you want. So it's good for people in mid-career change, but it's also good for people who actually want to set up a business in a different location. And these days, I'm doing everything online anyway. I was already working from home before they put these restrictions in place, because most of our clients are in places like Zurich, London, San Francisco, Amsterdam, Germany, as well as Sydney and Shanghai and Hong Kong. So basically, LinkedIn was already basically enabling us to basically work from home. My company, my employees already work from home already, because obviously we use LinkedIn. LinkedIn's a global network. You can find anyone anywhere in the world. And that's the key. We have clients all over the world because you can reach out to them, have a conversation like this, just on things like Zoom or on this or on LinkedIn, for example. And it's all about using that data to do that. So anyone can do it. And as you position yourself in a certain way, I position myself in a certain way, there's enough people out there with enough basically needs. You find a little niche and you can basically build up your credibility and your personal brand. You can win clients. So when someone wins the first client, they get confidence, go, wow, I got this first client, it's amazing. And then they never look back, because they realize it gives them more freedom. They can actually earn more. They can actually have the freedom to travel. They can do whatever they want. I can pick up the phone. I can basically say, what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to Germany. Well, I can't at the moment, but before this all happened, I'm going to go to Germany. I'm going to go to San Francisco. I'm going to go this way or that way, because I feel like there's a need there, which is why I've been across every single country in Asia. And I've tested every single country in Asia, even places like Cambodia and Vietnam, to see if there's a market there for our LinkedIn service, for example. So it's based on data of traveling, which I can do because I've used LinkedIn. So when I went to Vietnam and Cambodia, I set up meetings there using LinkedIn. Said, let's meet there. I'm going to be there doing a talk. And they say, oh, let's meet. That's fantastic. And then you pick up information about the local market. What's the price point? What would they pay for? What would they not pay for? And so forth as well. When I went to Cambodia, they basically said, for your prices, we can buy a television campaign for a year. So, okay, move on from Cambodia. This is not a big market for me. Well, now, obviously, other people will say, oh, you were stupid to go there because that's obvious. But it's not obvious until you actually go there and listen to people. Like in Thailand, for example, everyone assumes that Thailand's big for LinkedIn. It's not. It's terrible for LinkedIn. Very small amount of engagement. Nobody uses it, partly because they actually speak Thai. So they don't actually speak English a lot of the time. So basically, you have a fundamental problem there in terms of the audience there and the businesses there. They want to speak Thai. They don't want to speak English. So basically, you can't just assume that basically because English is the national language of the world in terms of business, that every single other country is then communicating in English. Some of our clients in Zurich speak in German because they're targeting the German part of Zurich. We have some of our clients in Zurich and the French part, they target the French part. So we have to do posts in French and English, or German and English, or Italian and English on LinkedIn to do double profiles as well.
Yeah, what's interesting is that there is that translate function on
Yeah.
LinkedIn as well. So, like there's this lovely gentleman that I correspond quite a lot with who's in Canada, David Kenton, and a lot of his posts are in French. And even though I have O-level French, it's really not good enough to understand what it is. So I'm going, oh, okay. So I'm always clicking the translate.
It's better than Google Translate as well. It actually works.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's no point writing to me in French, much as I love French. I like to be spoken to in French because of the accent, but I need to understand what it is. So if you tag me, I need to know what it is that's being said about me as well.
So
this
Jane, what's the first
yeah.
thing? What's the first thing that someone should do then if they get laid off? What's the first thing they should do? What's your career advice for someone who's being laid off like this week?
Oh goodness. Okay. Well. First of all, what's been happening here is a lot of people have been asked to either take a 20, 30, or 50% pay cut initially,
Right.
And then some other businesses, especially hospitality, people have been stood down, which means that when this turns around, they will still have a job to go to, and our government has just implemented a fantastic stimulus package so that let me make sure that I've got this right. So it's called the Job Keeper package, and with the Job Keeper package, every fortnight employees will receive 1,500 Australian dollars, to keep them going, because people have got mortgages and bills to pay and things like that. So for some it's blanket the same amount for everybody, regardless of whether you had a high salary or a lower salary. So for some people it's going to be almost like business as usual, but for others it's going to be a massive cut. But my recommendation is if you think you've actually lost your job and there's not going to be one to go back to, now's the time to really sit and reflect and think about what you really want, because you need some career clarity. Think about in your career so far. Let's do a stock take. Assess your life holistically so that you know what's really important to you, what sort of legacy you might want to leave, what are the skills and knowledge that you've currently got, and then think, where else could I use these effectively? And it could be self-employment, or it could be getting another job, but in an industry where they're going to be hiring. There is hiring right now. A lot of companies like Bunnings and obviously the supermarkets, they need more people delivery. And if you don't have a massive ego and you think, well, actually, let me just do what I can to get some additional income, then, Woolworths has just announced that they've got 20,000 jobs, and they're going to try and get the people who are affected from the airline and hospitality industry first, because they really need it. But for the rest of us, if we're going to be at home, let's take stock of what's important to you, and then just think, what would I really love to do? I like to take people through a career clarity series of exercises, and then once you know what you really want, then have a reality check, and then set the things in. Actually, while we're talking about it, Navigating Career Crossroads, you see it's just there. Okay, this is my second edition, which is coming out soon. First edition was the white one, but inspired by you, black marketing, Chris, black one. What do you think? It's a bit more powerful, I think, but it's got Navigating Career Crossroads takes you through the A to Z of a career transition, from assessing what makes you tick, overcoming stress and the challenges, building your self-confidence, your resumes, LinkedIn, massive stuff on LinkedIn in here. Actually, talking about LinkedIn, you have several books all on LinkedIn.
I do. Funny you should say that, Jane. They happen to be here. And my fourth book is coming out. It's really an update of both this one, and this one, because as we both know, LinkedIn kind of changes things on a regular basis.
All the time.
But in terms of why it's very paramount here, my book's coming out in March. It's all about how you become a LinkedIn rock star, and it's all about variations of a rock star.
Show us the LinkedIn rock star one. Is that the latest?
Oh, no, that's not out yet. It's coming. It's coming in about a month's time. It's still being. I basically proofread it on Sunday, so it's coming very, very soon. So basically, we will be looking at how you can basically become a rock star to protect your job, to get that advancement, but also you want to start a business or become an entrepreneur. And it's all about how you use LinkedIn. Yeah.
Hold on. Jason, thank you so much. Says very inspiring. This came up while you were talking, so you're very inspiring, Chris. And he says great advice. Jenny, thank you for asking. She says, when is your new version being released, Jane? I'm currently proofreading the Kindle version. I got a bit waylaid, and my publisher's waiting. But you can actually find the book on. Oh, hang on, let me just type this. JaneJacksonCoach.com book. Okay, if I just pop that up there, you'll find the latest version. The old version, which is this one, my white one, is there already. However, if you want to get the next book, this one with all of the latest URLs and links and everything, just hang on a little while. Corona has sort of delayed things a bit. It's supposed to be in the bookstores in May, but I just need to finish the proofreading for the Kindle version. Then it should be up in a week or two. So not long, Jenny. Okay.
And your podcasts are on Spotify for those people, aren't they? I mean, my books are all on Spotify, so you can listen to my books on Spotify. But your podcasts are all on Spotify, aren't they, Jane?
Yeah, that's right. Look, which is the book? Let me just type in the title so people can look for it. Which is the book that you would recommend that people should read now?
I mean, this one is the best one for the moment because this is basically enables you to socially sell yourself, which is basically how you get a job, how you can get clients, how you can get investors, how you can get non-executive position, for example. And this is basically a fantastic book about how you really use Sales Navigator. Because nobody outside of basically me and my team know how to use Sales Navigator. It really is kind of a niche way of doing it because most people don't even know what Sales Navigator is because LinkedIn don't really sell it very hard. So basically this explains a lot about social selling. It explains a lot about how you use SmartLink, which is basically the content of basic Sales Navigator to share. You can track engagement, but it allows the data. So, LinkedIn Premium is not very good comparative to Sales Navigator.
Just getting you have a fan, Chris Con. Hi, Con. The legendary Chris. This bloke is awesome. And he says, LinkedIn Mastery for Entrepreneurs is a must. Thank you, Chris. You have a fan, a big fan.
Why are you so surprised, Jane?
Where are my fans? Where are all the loves and likes for Jane? Okay. Con says he wants to get. Okay. Oh, the book is. Oh, thank you so much, Jenny. I have nice people too. It's not just you, Chris. But I have to admit, this is just so funny because look at me. I'm just so prim and proper. And there's Chris with his mohawk and his show us your tats. Come on, show us your tats because I don't have it. Look, amazing. What is it? You've got a beautiful face there.
Lots of beautiful faces, lots of inspirational people. That's basically yes.
Yeah. Okay, am I on it yet? Wouldn't you like a picture of me on your neck?
I'm doing one with wings in the back of my back. Maybe I should do it your face there with wings, that kind of thing.
Oh yes, I think so. And take a picture and post it on LinkedIn. I'm sure you can't think of anything worse than having my face on your back. There you go. Okay, all right. So now let's talk about everyone who is stuck at home and they're worried about their jobs. They're not sure about what to do, or else their businesses have closed down. Okay. Yeah. And so when it comes to, hang on, I want to, where's my banner? Where's my banner with your name on it? There we go. Chris J. Mohawk. Okay. I want to know what can businesses do? What advice would you give to businesses who are suffering at the moment? Because so many have closed their doors. And what should they be doing? Should they be taking a little bit of time off and watching Netflix, or should they be doing something else?
They should be doing something else because now is a great time. Because basically you have time to invest in yourself. And throughout the years, basically there's lots of studies which show the brands that invest in themselves during a recession, during a downturn, become stronger after that recession, after that downturn. And personal branding is no different. If you invest in your personal brand now, if you complete your profile, get some recommendations, do a content marketing strategy, start doing some social selling, start planting seeds, then basically you will get more business, you will have more runway and investment kind of coming out of this. So basically you should not start marketing. And there's a big danger that everyone basically puts their tools down and go, I can't do anything because everyone's working at home, no one's spending any money. That's completely wrong because that's the way depression happens. Now, everyone stops spending, everyone's basically completely screwed. So we can't all just stop spending because it has a trickle down effect and then you get millions of people unemployed. So basically the big corporates who have got the money, and we know they've got the money, they should still be spending the money to go to the little guys, and the little guys serviced by little guys like me, for example, need that basically this trickle down to keep on coming. And that's what you need to do. The personal brands need to stand out. The business owners need to stand out in order to protect themselves and their business going forward, not just now, but in the future. Because people remember brands that basically invest in themselves during a downturn. People don't remember brands who basically disappeared off the face of the earth and didn't participate, didn't engage, didn't lead. And we need leaders now of entrepreneurs. We need leaders in multinationals. We need leaders in small companies to step up and basically keep on activity. Keep on engaging and not just give in, because they're working from home. They go, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to watch Netflix today. I'm going to watch, BBC iPlayer or whatever it happens to be. Basically, no, this is the time to basically, if you want to reskill. If you want to reposition your brand. Want to write a book, write a book. Want to do a podcast, do a podcast. Want to do a video series, do a video series. Now is not the time to basically stop. Now is the time to basically invest in your personal branding, and then you'll be stronger and brighter and braver afterwards.
Really wise words. I have some comments. More accolades for Chris J. Reed. Rolls the eyes. Okay. Thank goodness. Con says we love you too, Jane. Thank you, Con. But I know you're a big fan of Chris. Gary Eckstein. I'm another big fan of Chris Reed, Jane. His social selling expertise has helped me immensely. Yes, lovely, Craig. Lovely, Greg. I have to get to know you too. Now I feel competitive. Oh, so funny. But I mean, it's so true, because now's not the time to sit back and think, we've got to conserve our money and we mustn't market. We've still got to put the marketing dollars in there, because really historically it's been found that even during a downturn, it's the businesses who continue to market and develop that relationship, and it's all the know, like, trust, keep front of mind, that when things turn around, then it's going to be business as usual, or even better business as well. And it's the same thing too for career professionals who are thinking, okay, well, now I'm at home and nobody's working, maybe I'll just relax and have a bit of a staycation at home. No, honestly, now is the time. Revamp your LinkedIn profile. Think about the message that you want to get across to people. If you haven't got a beautiful branded, you can brand it yourself. Use Canva. Hop on Canva and create one of a cover image that really reflects who you are. Think about your tagline. Update all the information in the about section. Oh, and now with the new featured feature, that's even better. I love that, because that fine. I only got it last week. I was waiting for it because I like the featured feature. And now whatever content that you produce, an article, you can pop it right up there at the top of your LinkedIn profile, which really, if any potential employers land on your profile and they see content that you create, that's impressive. And the content obviously needs to be relevant in your area of expertise. But so many of us consume content. We're just reading, and then resharing what other people write. Well, I think it's so much better to be the thought leader yourself and, lead the charge. Be brave. Don't be shy. A lot of people don't want to put themselves out there, though.
Oh, totally. I mean, there's a chapter in, I think, both this book and this book about 1990, which is basically how social media works. 1% of people on social media create 1%. So 9% of people like, share, and comment. 90% of people do nothing at all. So you do not want to be one of the 90%, the invisible person. You want to be basically one of the 1%. Yes.
Yeah,
one of the 1%. Be a leader. Be a leader in your field. Be a leader in your area. Be a leader in your company. Be a leader in your country. Post. So post. Post once a day. Post once a week. Just post. And engage with people on there, because then you are seen more. You can share more. You can basically engage more. People are going to remember you more. And basically, you can have a discussion about kind of how you can do business together. And that's how opportunities basically come about. You do not have to create opportunities by being invisible. It does not happen. So you have to be more visible. You don't have to be as visible as me. You don't have to have a mohawk, but you basically can look like Jane and be a fantastic entrepreneur.
Well, Chris and I were actually talking about how I can create a mohawk. I might just do that, Chris. I might.
But Jane, what's your content marketing strategy, Jane?
My content marketing, my market is mainly on LinkedIn. I also use Facebook, Instagram, not very well, Twitter, not very well. But
how many times do you post? What do you post? What's your kind of strategy?
Well, normally I post once a day.
Right.
And what I like to do is I post something that is topical and will help people. It's always something that's going to help people. So my posting strategy is not buy my stuff. My posting strategy is, do you need help? And if you do, this is what will build your self-confidence. This is how you can write a resume. Go over here. I have a free resource. So I have a lot of free content, which is good for me, because I can help people, because it fulfills I have a career anchor, which is dedication to a cause or service. So making a difference in someone's life is important to me. However, we all have to eat. We all need to make a living as well. So of course I have my free options, which help people who maybe can't afford it. And then I've got like a ascending transaction model where there's, like a book, which is, like inexpensive as a Kindle or a paperback. And then I've got online programs, and then I've got the one-on-one coaching, and then I've got the whole shebang, which is like coaching programs.
You were saying that you've got a new course out. You've got a new online course out at the moment, which is, I couldn't believe it. Said it was $49.
No. Oh no, I have a how to build confidence course, because normally it's $499, but during coronavirus days, I'm just offering it at $25.
That's fantastic. It's really good,
Yeah, where is it? Oh, is it this one? Hang on. Yeah, that one, because like I say, I mean, it's only 25, but 15 US. But what it does is it takes you step by step through how you can manage anxiety and stress and build your self-confidence, because without confidence, you cannot market yourself. You cannot, even as an entrepreneur, take that leap of faith to do what it is that you want to do. So I got that course, and then I have a free. I'll tell you, free stuff. I like doing free stuff. I've teamed up with the amazing Ingrid Thompson. Don't even know where it is now. Let me just find it. Ingrid Thompson to. I'm still looking for it. Where is it? I don't know where it is. Hang on. Where is the link? Oh, here it is. There we go. I teamed up with Ingrid Thompson for a free masterclass, and this is Build Your Business Masterclass. So if anyone's thinking about starting a business, that's just the bit.ly link there. You can go to it, and you can take the free masterclass, and we take you through some of the most important things to consider before you leap into entrepreneurship, to find out if you're really cut out for it, and some of the initial steps that you can take. So that's pretty good. So you can just go there and try it. But I'm just thinking of lots of different ways that can help people that isn't going to break the bank, or just so that they can test it out, because now people have got time. And even on LinkedIn Learning is so generous of LinkedIn. They're giving a lot of free training out as well. And so, I'm sure you're supporting your clients in lots of different ways. What are the initiatives that you've got, Chris?
I mean, basically, we're delivering. I mean, our main business of Black Marketing is basically we manage your profile, we make you a rock star, we do your content marketing, but we also do your social selling. So effectively, we're still going out there finding clients, finding people to partner with, finding media opportunities, but ultimately finding a pipeline. Because whether that pipeline is relevant now, whether that pipeline is relevant in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, it's a pipeline. So it's all about creating this pipeline, because people should not stop selling. I've seen posts on LinkedIn, people say, stop selling, there's a coronavirus. And it's like, no, this is exactly the time where you should be selling more, not less, because you basically need to get cut through, you need to create a pipeline. Even if people don't buy now, and they say, you know what, I'll buy when the coronavirus is over, at least it's a pipeline. And then when the coronavirus is over, and everyone's back to work, you're not starting from scratch. You've basically got a running start. You can keep on going. And that's really, really crucial. If people understand you cannot stop selling during a recession. You cannot stop selling during a depression. You have to keep on selling. It's the smart guys and the smart women who are basically selling out there, who are basically going to have pipelines that be stronger going forwards. So now is the time to do it. And that's how we're helping our clients, by enhancing their personal brand, creating content for them, but also socially selling using Sales Navigator, finding potential clients, finding clients who want to invest now, and finding clients who want to invest in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months. I had lots of clients in January, for example, did a big masterclass in January for a big, massive company, but unfortunately their company basically took people from one country to another country to learn. And obviously, as soon as the coronavirus came down, they couldn't obviously do this. So basically, I had like about 10 different profiles that I was going to be working on from that particular company, which they suspended. So, but I know that's going to come back, because they were just inspired by my masterclass. They're really inspired. They saw they need to do it. They're not doing it themselves. They haven't got the resource. And after this, they're still going to need to go to do it again. So they basically, it's all about building a pipeline, planting the seeds now, so that when this is over, you can make the call and say, right, time to go. And they go, yep, let's go for it. Let's do it. Because that is going to basically separate you out from other people who basically is not doing it now. Because no one should be under any illusions whatsoever that basically money's going to come back immediately. That's not going to happen. Because someone's going to have to pay for all these bailouts across the whole world. This isn't all free money. America, UK, Singapore, Sydney, this is basically being paid for by you and I, the taxpayers, in some way or other. So basically, and the companies are basically paying in many ways as well. So the reserves are going, people's savings are going. People are going to be less likely to travel, less likely to go out, and less likely to spend. So if you get in now, reinforce your brand now, show people the need now, you're going to be top of the pile when it comes to people choosing how they spend. Because there's not going to be a big, let's spend $1 million on this, that, and the other when this is all over. People are going to be very, very conservative. Because also, we do not know this is not going to come back next year. People should be under no illusions whatsoever that this is like a one-off thing, basically, and people will not thank people for not thinking ahead. I thought a great article about footballers. Barcelona having to take a pay cut. Barcelona, the most prosperous, the most famous brand in the whole world, their players are taking a pay cut. But it's because they're mismanaged completely. They're buying people hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, they can say, we didn't know this was going to happen. So our revenue's gone down for things like gate receipts, sponsorship, Champions League, TV. But this happens again in a year's time. People will have no sympathy whatsoever if they've kept on spending hundreds of millions of dollars they do not have, rather than invest in their academy to find the next Lionel Messi. And that's what's going to happen. Footballers and football clubs are not going to be able to spend. Neither is anybody in the world going to be able to spend, just in case this happens again. So you can't keep bailing out billionaires like Richard Branson and the Qantas guys who have a monopoly and want a monopoly. You just cannot keep on doing that on the basis that, well, this happened last year. Why didn't you protect yourself in case it happened again? This is a warning for everybody to basically be more conservative in terms of spend, but basically make sure your spend is focused on your personal brand. Make sure your spend is focused on things that are really going to have an impact in your business. Exactly what you do, exactly what we do. Quality services will survive, Jake.
Absolutely. And also, I think now there's going to be this global shift of people being a lot more mindful of what they do. They're going to be more careful of the dollars. They're also going to be more careful of how their actions impact the community and the world around them and the other business as well, because we're all in this ecosystem together. There's that ripple effect is so true. I've just got a few comments here that I'd like to read out to you as well. Richard Elston, when you're out of work, he says, your job is to find a new job. Absolutely right. Take a holiday after you've found one. Yes, now is not holiday time. Now is preparing for when the coronavirus pandemic has subsided or is over or is managed. But you really, contingency plans are so important, because you're right. How do we know if things are not going to mutate and there'll be something else that hits us next year as well? Leah's here. Leah says, hi, Jane. Hi, Chris. Ingratia Cho, she goes, so true, must be confidence. Yeah, you have to be confident in order to market yourself. And Leah says, yeah, without confidence, you can't market yourself. So true. And Con's asking, how about you, Chris? How often do you post on LinkedIn and what do you recommend?
Excellent question. So I recommend 411. I'm sure Jane's going to come with the banner in a minute. 411. So 411 is basically, I do about 5 or 6 posts a day because I'm hitting different time zones, but also because I know how basically LinkedIn works in terms of you cannot just market black marketing the whole time. So I do one post about black marketing, for example, which is considered my hard sell post. One post, which is a soft sell post, which must be about LinkedIn or personal branding. But I'll do 4 unrelated posts about other things. And that's basically giving value to my community, basically gives me permission to basically sell for the one hard sell post. So I might post about Singapore. I might post about the virus. I might post about leadership. I might post about marketing or social media or something not directly connected to my business. I'm not consistently selling all the time. I'm basically giving value to my followers. I'm giving tips away about what to do. Like I did a post the other day about how your posts are not Shakespeare, and get it out there. And basically telling people just to do it themselves. You know, don't use our business, but actually do it themselves. Post. So basically giving value, giving tips, giving expert advice. You know, that's why you can listen to this on Spotify. You can listen to this on basically, Apple Music. You can listen to this on Kindle. You can go to my YouTube video and see all my talks. Basically giving things away is part of social selling. And then combine that with a hard sell post. So I basically use a lot of platforms like Buffer, for example, to post on a regular basis, because I'm hitting San Francisco, I'm hitting New York, I'm hitting London, I'm hitting Zurich, I'm hitting Germany, I'm hitting Stockholm, I'm hitting Amsterdam, I'm hitting Sydney, I'm hitting Auckland, I'm hitting Hong Kong, Singapore, Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh, I'm hitting Shanghai, basically posting at different times to hit those people. And basically think about how you do it, think about what they want to hear about, think about being first. Being first is crucial, like my post on Sunday about the Singaporean guy who got his passport taken away. I was first. I did it with a dramatic headline saying "Don't F with Singapore," and this is why. And I got lots of other people, obviously my fellow Singaporeans, because I am Singaporean, my fellow Singaporeans totally agreeing with what I'd said, but they were willing to share it and engage as well, and everyone was coming on board. That is not selling my business. That's giving value to people. That's breaking news. Showing basically that we are all part of the community. It's setting an example, and social media is very, very key in terms of basically sharing, setting examples, sharing good practice, and it's a very, very positive effect. That's what I love about LinkedIn. It's very positive comparative to other networks which are not positive. So you get less fake news obviously on LinkedIn than you would do any other platform. And we all have a responsibility on LinkedIn to make sure that stays true. So give value is my key. So basically, it's all about value, value, value. Give it and don't just be selling the whole time.
Yes, what I've noticed is on platforms like Twitter, for example, there's a lot of negativity. And I think that's so unnecessary. We can spread positivity on Twitter as well. But I think, those short little tweets, it's people just say nasty things, which really, really, I find it like lowlifes will do that. But on LinkedIn, because it's a professional networking site, that every single person, regardless of any role you have at any level, you have something to say. You are an expert in your area, and there is nothing stopping you from posting on LinkedIn and sharing your opinion. Your opinion does matter, but please make it a positive opinion. Don't make it a slagging everything off. Ask for other people's opinions too, and then that way you can get engagement, because LinkedIn actually likes that. The more people engage with your posts, the more it gets broadcast out to the greater LinkedIn community as well. So I find LinkedIn's a great way to educate, entertain as well. And I know it's not Facebook, so it's not going to be lots and lots of pictures of cats, although because I'm a crazy cat lady, I did do a cat post the other day. I did, because I've got 2 cats, and one cat is my chief procrastination officer, CPO. I have a CPO here, so I'm not all alone. So that's quite nice. But you've got to have something that's a little bit lighter. Then you've got to educate people, because you've got to create awareness, don't you? Awareness of who on earth are you? And so like you're the LinkedIn mastery guy. I'm the careers woman. And so basically that's what we post about. And both of us are helping individuals and helping businesses too. Are you getting some more comments? Charles Fairley's here. Hi, Chris. He's saying hi. Great advice. Thanks, Jane and Chris. Amazing energy, Chris, says Leah. Let's blow this virus out with positive energy and can-do action. Yeah, definitely. That's so important. There's one little thing I just want to tell you about for anyone who needs a little bit of support and is just, worried about stuff, because, I'm a warm fuzzy. Okay, so I have a Get Stuff Done accountability group. It's free. It's a private group on Facebook. And if you want to join it, I'm there every single day. I'm doing little Facebook Lives and encouraging people. We're sharing goals. Initially, at the beginning of the year, it was career goals, business goals, health goals, fitness goals, holiday goals, and personal goals. Holiday goals are a bit on hold at the moment because nobody's going anywhere, but I think we can holiday at home very well. But certainly keeping up with your fitness goals and your health goals is very, very important as well. So I do once a week a group accountability meeting on Zoom. It's free, and normally I do it once a month, but during Corona I'm doing it once a week. So anyone, you can just join the Facebook accountability group. You can find it via this Jane Career Coach, and then join me and let's have a chat, because I'm there all the time. I'm very lively in the group, simply because people need connection right now. Don't you think global connection is important? And speaking of global connection, this is the hashtag that I'm using if you want to find my LinkedIn lives. And for the replay for this one with Chris, because I'm sure anyone who missed the beginning, you'll want to hear everything that Chris J. Mohawk Reed has been saying, because you're amazing, Chris. And honestly, your energy is so just gets you going, doesn't it?
Of course, you got to be.
Okay, so I think we've been chatting for 45 minutes. I can talk to you all day, Chris. So
I'm sure people have got things to do.
Yes, I think so
They should
too.
be socially selling.
We better go before they get fed up. Go and write a post, everybody. Who's going to write a post? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Everyone needs to write a post. Come on.
Wait, I'm typing this now. Hang on. Our challenge to you is to post a valuable, oh God, valuable post. Okay, how's that? Is that a good idea? There.
Brilliant idea.
And remember, and tag us if you're going to post a post. Do at Chris J Reed, very 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 long title, and then look for Jane and tag us so we know. All right, I think that will be good. And thank you for Richard, Maggie, Michelle, Saranja, Rebecca, Di. Oh, Di is here. Di, thank you for your recommendation, because I was asking yesterday on my live about I need new Ugg boots, and then you sent me a private message with a link to
Coldplay or something.
Thank you. I know. Look, from waist up, I'm very elegant. From waist down, jeans and Ugg boots. All right. I won't ask what's waist down with you. Okay, so there you go. We better go before we start.
I wouldn't wear Ugg boots, that's for sure.
Okay. Well, it's too hot in Singapore for Ugg boots, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Well, when you have your next laksa or black pepper crab, will you think of me? Or you can take a picture and you can post it and go, here you go, Jacko. There it is. All right. Lovely to chat with you, Chris. Thanks so much.
Thank you,
For
Jane.
anyone, I'll hop over to YouTube and see if this worked now. Ciao, everybody. Bye.